Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute, and I've got a movie for you. One of my favorites. Classic from the 80s. This is a gangster movie and it is about a guy named Tony Montana. He is a Cuban immigrant refugee. In fact, the movie actually starts out with a little bit of a crawler explaining what is going on geopolitically in the 1970s, 1980s with the whole Cuba-Florida thing. You see, in the 1950s, Cuba went communist. Or was it the 60s? Either way, dude named Castro took power, whole mess. They became friends with the Russians. There was a massive nuclear war scare, and, well, things almost went hot. Real hot. Anyway, for some reason, people don't like living under Castro's communist regime because, well, they don't have anything. And it sucks. So there. If you've ever been to Cuba, just look around. Also, Castro loved the vintage stuff. By the way, all of the cars in Cuba, by law, cannot be any newer than, I believe, 1959 or 1960. And you have to keep them running, whether you like it or not. Okay? So, a lot of people tend to leave. In fact, there's a saying among Cuban Americans of, and this is from Snarky J, by the way, I did not come from Cuba to stand in line. So there. But enough of that. Let's talk about the movie. So, Tony Montana, Scarface as it is, he's got a big old scar on his face where he got into a fight. Now, he comes here and, he starts doing, the odd jobs as immigrants often do. Because they don't really have anything and they need somebody that's going to employ them and not really ask many questions. Well, he fricking hates it. So he starts looking around and he finds out that there is a guy who's trading in a certain plant, a powdered form of it specifically. Excuse me. And money's really good. So he talks to the guy and he becomes an enforcer for him. Okay, well, a couple of things on a deal go a little bit sideways and good old Tony decides to be Tony. He takes out his boss and becomes the new boss. And he starts building an empire. Now he's got a brother with him and he gets pulled in. His sister kind of sort of gets pulled in, but not really. I would have actually liked to see a lot more character development in her, but this is a lot more about Tony and less about other people. Okay? So, he goes from literally rags to filthy riches. The problem is he has no control over his money. And he's like constantly broke. So he's having to persistently sell this stuff. You know what it is. It has something to do with Colombia. And otherwise he has no money coming in. Okay? Well, he makes some deals with the feds. And the feds are like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. We got you. Except there's a change of regime under the feds, and they change their mind. So they decide to lay siege to his villa there in Miami, and it's very, very opulent, it's ostentatious, it's a complete bunch of crap money because he needs to spend it, because it is ill-gotten, and the IRS will come talk to him. He doesn't want that. So if he hides the money in assets, or stuff, just never mind assets, then, well, it makes it a lot more difficult for it to be tracked. Okay? Well, the feds get wise to him, and they send in. The ATF and the FBI show up, and this is where we get the famous line of, "Say hello to my little friend." He's got a very, very large shooty stick with him, and it goes kaboom. Well, he manages to take out a few of them, however, loses in the end, falls over the edge into this reflecting pool? in his villa, and the water turns red. Guess why? So, what it's about is it is about corruption, okay? Now, when you first start off this movie, you look at Tony. He's not a good guy, okay? You can tell by looking at him. The guy's kind of scum, really. Okay, he's got the eyes, he's got the attitude, not an ounce of humility. His brother, on the other hand, actually kind of a stand-up guy, if a little bit of a perv, the way he goes over and hits on a girl in Miami. I mean, it's Miami. They're gorgeous. I don't know if you've ever been. Okay? So, his brother goes over and makes advances at this girl, and she calls him a pig and slaps him and walks off. Which, the way she was dressed in the 80s was rather quite provocative. Nowadays, a bit mid-run. So, the story is about the way ill-gotten money and crime takes a person and accentuates their worst qualities. His brother becomes very opulent as well, but amazingly, he's actually still kind of a good guy, even though he's, technically into drugs. Tony, on the other hand, he goes from, low-grade dirtbag thug to high-grade dirtbag marching powder dude. Yeah. And just how obtuse you get under that influence. It is about the corruption of money and about the corruptive effects of a criminal lifestyle. How one step leads to another until you're so deep you can never get out. Even if you wanted to. Which, well, Tony didn't, but his brother didn't get out. He had a bad day. That's all I can say. So, if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe. And links in the description for my website, vimandvigorelli.com, books, merchandise, ghost tours as well. And you can also follow me on Twitter. Every now and again I say something intelligent. So, I'll be back later. You take care. Bye-bye.